Okay, hello. Hope you're well as you tune into this. Good morning, good evening, whatever. It's currently morning for me. It is almost 10 a.m. By the time you see this, it'll be May, most likely. So you are a time traveler. How does it feel? So I'm on a walk right now. Obviously, I'm outside. My feet are moving, but I'm on a walk. I'm thinking about things. I'm also trying to be meditative. I didn't take my other phone, so I don't have my headphones. I don't have anything playing. I'm just kind of with myself. And I was thinking about my boyfriend, and there was a lot of really negative thoughts in my head swirling about and I had to kind of redirect, and that's kind of partially what this video is, like a forceful redirect. Because I have been meditative, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, and I want to be useful with that. I want to be productive with that. So here we are. It's currently February 12th as I record this. 212. If that number means anything, Birdie One. I'm still really trying to get used to being an overflow. I put more money away towards the fundraiser thing, and so that was a thing. That felt good. It was just like $25, but it's something, you know what I mean? Because it was just sitting in my savings, and I was like, you know what I mean? I want to do that too, but you know, before I like lose the momentum to do so. It's currently Thursday. I'm supposed to get paid tomorrow. I'm most likely will get a little. I will have the ability. I will have the access to get a tiny chunk of my paycheck today. I think most likely. And then tomorrow is payday, so that'll be something. And I'm thankful. I'm happy. I'm excited. But once again, the nervous system, my body. I'm like it's unexplainable because it's like it doesn't make sense because like logistically I should be like on a cloud, you know what I mean? But that's not how that works because there's a bicycle person. But yes, so like I just want to make sure that like I continue that momentum, you know what I mean? Because like sorry, that was really awkward. I pretended like I was still recording after because there was a bicycle guy. I waved at. Why was it so awkward? Sometimes I'm like, I doubt he read that as awkward. I feel so awkward sometimes when I like wave at people in public because I'm like, what the heck? Am I a celebrity? Do I have stands? I'm just kidding. Also, because I did talk about sobriety before, I haven't really been aiming for sobriety necessarily. I've been aiming just for like harm reduction and like whatnot, and not like physical, like I'm not doing math or anything, but you know what I mean, like in terms of like finances, in terms of like money, you know what I mean, like not going overboard. You know what I mean, that's really been my focus, not necessarily just being like, let me go clean, which I do know on some level though. I was watching a reading by one of my faves the other day, and she was saying that like it is necessary for certain people to go through sobriety. And I was for a little bit when I went to rehab and when I came out for like a week. But I don't know, I feel like I want to get back to that. But it'll be a while before that. Like unless, like, I mean, because I do feel like my body has been rejecting. Like I feel like, because I've been coughing a lot more. I've been, like, you could probably hear it in my voice. Like I don't claim sickness, but like my body is definitely rejecting the smoke, and that's good to some degree because then like logically it's just like, okay, well, this hurts and I am doing this to avoid pain, so if it's causing more pain, then you know. So that's been a thing. Also, I want to clarify because I said that jokingly. I'm not doing it to avoid pain. That's not, if anything, it's to like soften the blow, to give a filter, but I'm definitely not avoiding it. Like I'm still going through the feels, still like allowing myself to feel what I'm, you know what I mean? Don't get me freaking wrong, buddy. But I've also been smoking since I was like 17, and so it's a pretty big habit. And you know, old habits die hard. That's what they say. I think. I don't know. So I think just to give myself brownie points though, like just my awareness of it and like how like on point I am with it. I before I went on this walk, 444 on the clock, by the way. 4 represents stability, structure, foundations, and stuff like that. Before I came on this walk, I wrote down a schedule, like a little loose schedule. It's not too, like, it's just like a couple times for the week, like, but because I was talking to ChatGPT about stuff, because I like to talk to ChatGPT. I use it like not as a form of therapy, but we could call it a form of therapy, I guess, just to process ideas and like get feedback and all that stuff. And they were telling me that I could probably benefit from a schedule, and I've had schedules before, like even when I was homeless. Like I remember I don't know why it's such a vivid memory, but I do remember one time where I was homeless, and I went over to the spot where we regularly like smoked meth, and I wrote down like this, like, yeah, okay, people smoke meth here, but like also it was also just like a resting spot, like for a lot of people. Like sometimes people would go by themselves and like sleep there or whatever. And so I went there one time and I wrote down my schedule. Actually, did I do it there? Actually, it might have been like somewhere close by, but I don't know. Anyways, I wrote down my schedule. I said it was vivid. I don't even remember where. Memories are not reliable, by the way. Scientifically, like historically, memories are not reliable, because I think it's like a timeline thing. I don't know. But anyways, I wrote down my schedule. I wrote down a very specific hour by hour schedule, and it was flexible. Like it had flexibility. Like it wasn't like do this at this time, or like it was like you can do this, or you can do this, or you could like rest, or you could like whatever at this time, but do one of these things. And I followed it, and it was really helpful. You know what I mean? And even when I was housed, I did the same thing, and it was helpful for a while. Maybe I shouldn't blame other people, but I do blame my boyfriend, because I showed him the schedule, and shortly after I like was not able to like adhere to the schedule. And like once again, I'm not officially blaming anyone, I'm just saying it does seem to be interesting, because I showed him multiple times. Like I showed him once when I like, how do I say this, because I was like housed in a different part of the state that I'm in, and I had a schedule, and this was like, I had my own bedroom, I had my own room, like it was like a kind of more comfortable situation, and I had a schedule, and I was going really good with it. And I showed him, because I'm a silly goose, I'm a Gemini, I like to share things, I like to share information, that's who I am. And I shared the freaking video with him, or not the video, I'm recording a video. I was like having thoughts, and I like spoke when I was there. Okay, anyways, I showed him the schedule, and shortly after I showed him, like I wasn't able to like, you know what I mean? And maybe that sounds like paranoia. Maybe it is. I don't know, but it's a thought that came through my mind several times. So, you know, I don't know. I don't mean to get mushy or like sentimental, but I do really love my boyfriend. I do really care about my boyfriend. But like, objectively, I've just noticed that I don't know, he just likes to meet me where he can. He doesn't really care to like, I don't know. I mean, he got me my other phone, my iPhone. Like, he's done a lot. Like, he's really helpful. But, like, I don't know. It's just, like, sometimes it feels like he needs to have, like, an initiative to do something. Like, it's just, like, because when I had a phone, when he gave me the phone, like, it was because I kept saying that I was trying to get a phone. I needed a new phone for streaming and stuff. And I didn't necessarily ask him for a phone. I think I asked him for money so I could save up for it or something, but like, yeah, so it was like a surprise. Like he got it for me, and I was just like, yeah, thank you. And it was like around Thanksgiving too, so that was cool. And like, I don't know, he's really helpful, but like, once again, in a lot of ways, in a lot of non-tangible ways, he can be a little bit much for me. You know what I mean? And once again, I'm not blaming anybody, but like, it's, if I'm blaming anybody, it's me for like allowing that to happen. You know what I mean? Because like energetically, it's just a thing. Like when you fall in love, when you have somebody that you care about, when you like are attached to somebody in that way, whatever you want to call it. Also, it's funny because as I'm recording this, it's about to be Valentine's Day, and I'm talking about my relationship. That's so funny. But by the time it gets posted, it'll be freaking May, so that won't matter. But yeah, when you're attached to somebody like that, it takes up your energy. And as a person who's very ambitious, as a person who's very like goal-oriented, who's very mindful of their own energy, like I've noticed that, you know what I mean, like if it wasn't for that drive inside of me, this would just be a regular relationship. You know what I mean? But we do like different things. Like there's different things that we've done, I've initiated. You know, like charity work and stuff like that. And it's like really cool. But it's like, once again, I'm the one initiating that. It's like, if I weren't to ever say, like, it wouldn't have happened. And even after it first happened, like, if I didn't bring it up again, it wouldn't have happened. Like, it would have just been a one and done thing. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense the way I'm saying it, but because what I want is for somebody, and I've talked to him about this. I've told him this, and I've been like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, whatever. I want a person who's going to like take initiative towards things, somebody who has their own drive, somebody who's like also trying to, like, you know what I mean, trying to do things and like make waves in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want somebody who's just getting by to get by. You know what I mean? Because to some degree, that's kind of what it is, and I'm not judging that sort of lifestyle, but it's just like, I don't know, that's not me. But because we are so attached, like, it rubs off on me. And you know what I mean? Sometimes I have to force myself to like get focused. Sometimes I have to like, and it's just a thing because we are so attached. And like, I've said this, like, I don't want to share my body with anybody that I'm not like building something with, that it's not like meaningful, or you know what I mean? And it's just not, once again, not that it hasn't been meaningful, but it's just like, I don't care for sex. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling about nothing. Anyways, I mean, I don't know. I know in my heart of hearts what I should do, what would be the appropriate thing, but at the same time, there's nuance, and I feel like because of my current situation, it's good to have somebody on my team who is so resourceful, who is so helpful. I remember when I went to rehab, he picked me up. I got him to pick me up from rehab. It was a 5-hour drive. And I thought about that the other night, and I was like, I'm so thankful for that, because I didn't have anybody else that I knew who would be willing to do that. My parents were so unwilling to pick me up early, and that was like a whole freaking ordeal. So I don't know, I secretly was really thankful for that. Not secretly, I made it very clear that I was very thankful in the moment and afterwards, but I don't know. So that was a 10-hour drive. He drove 5 hours to come get me, and then we had to drive 5 hours back. So, so like, once again, I don't want to downplay like the role that he's played in my life and like how helpful he has been, but that also doesn't outweigh like the way in which he kind of like, or okay, the way in which I allow him to hinder me a little bit. Because once again, I'm not blaming anybody. I need to fucking stand by that in my language, because sometimes I might say it a different way, but I'm standing by it. I'm not blaming him actively, but like, to some degree, if we wanted to place external blame, it would make sense, because of his actions, because of his inactions. I am having to, like, you know what I mean? But once again, my inaction, breaking up with him, is probably the icing on the cake, you know what I mean? Which technically, I guess you don't need icing on a cake. You could put it inside. You could do a filling. I don't know. I'm gonna show you this. I don't usually show the surroundings. I used to on my other page. I used to always, like, in every video, because I had access to iMovie. Well, I still have access to iMovie, but I don't record videos on that phone really. And like, I don't know. It's complicated. But back once upon a time, I would like always, all of my videos on my other channel were like edited. Like, I had like B-roll and shit. Like, I would, like, as I was talking, I would have footage of like the nature, because where I used to live, there was a bunch of nature. I feel like I'm always surrounded by nature. I'm like on the East Coast. I feel like there's always some, I mean, I guess anywhere you go in the world, I guess there's gonna be some sort of fucking nature, right? That's an interesting thought, because I'm like, why did I try to feel like special for having nature around me? Like, as if we don't live on a planet that is, okay, anyways. I mean, I think partially because we do live in capitalism. We do live in a world where everything is industrialized and they take down trees for stuff. So, I mean, I guess that's where my mind was. But anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, I was in editing videos once upon a time. And I don't know, I don't like to live in the past. So I think there's a lot of really awesome things that I put out into the internet that like are just floating around as far as I'm aware, because I don't really care to like, I don't know how to say that. Like I have my first ever TikTok page was pretty big. I had like 10,000 followers, I guess. Not all of them were active, but it counted for something, I feel like. And I'm walking on the sand now. Also, I have 2 minutes left, so I have to wrap this up. And occasionally I go back to that page and I watch the videos because they were relatively good quality. I liked the style of content that I was creating. It was kind of like how I do these YouTube videos, but it was for TikTok. With a little bit more editing usually, and sometimes I go back and I revisit that shortly, like briefly. But like, I don't know, I feel like if I was a more insane person, I would be like obsessively like going back and like trying to recreate that. But I'm not the type of person. I don't like living in the past. It's like, that is done. That was a chapter in my life and it is what it is. It is public, technically. It's a private page, but there's a little over 9,000 people who follow the page. So those people, including myself, can like look at the page, but you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if somebody watching this needs to hear this. By the time you see this, it'll be 4 months into the future, but like, I think that's a huge problem with a lot of humans, like looking at the past and like clinging to the past with like a vengeance, not a vengeance, but with a fury, with a passion. It's like, be in the present, be here now, in the moment, you know what I mean? As much as you can be, you know what I mean? Because all we have is the present. You can't create the future from anywhere else but the present moment. You know what I mean? It's a pretty heavy, pretty simple concept, but it is the fucking truth. Like, you can't go anywhere but the fucking present and create the, you know what I'm fucking saying? Like, I feel like I just need to keep saying it. I feel like somebody's gonna really, it's gonna really, so, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I hope you know that miracles happen all the time. Whatever you're going through is temporary. Try to keep your head up, because everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever, man. And yeah, deuces, love you, bye.